Hi and welcome. It's day 10 of the Junetober 2025 YouTube Hub. So I'm working with this wonderful freebie from Vectoria Designs. It consists of 2 pages, and to be perfectly honest, it's a little bit tricky to make a full project with just a journaling page and an envelope, but I'm so determined to try. So wish me good luck. I will go into a cutting mode next. But before I do, I will show you that I have printed the envelope 2 times and the journaling page also 2 times. On top of that, I have printed it or them both on one sheet, so it's a little bit smaller. I am trying to include as little as possible of any other supplies rather than this this freebie, but I did bring in a few sheets of coffee dyed paper. Anyway, let me get some cutting done and I will be right back. After I've got these, the first step is to make them look a little bit more like envelopes, I guess. They won't be envelopes when I'm finished here. Just a fair warning. And most likely I will be cutting these side flaps off. But I want to keep all my options open, so I'm just going to leave them for now. You could just fold these by hand, like this. See where the folding line is and just do it like that. There we go. But I have a scoring board, so I'm just going to use that. Okay, it's a little bit, I just have to see. Yeah, folding it by hand would probably be a little bit quicker, but so yes, I'm going to fold all the lines like this and then crease them so that they're nice and tidy. And after I have done that, I will be back again. So while I was filming, I didn't have a clue how this project would turn out to be, obviously. But I figured I would step in at this point and show you what it looks like. I said that it wouldn't look like an envelope anymore when I was done with it. Yes, it does look like an envelope. And also I did not end up cutting the little flaps off. I needed both pairs of them, so forget everything I said, basically. So when you open this, it has a pocket right here. I didn't put anything in that one. And here is the closer. There we go. It opens like a little folio. There's also a pocket on the inside, some writing space. Then it has 2 flaps here for the closer. You could put some sort of a binding mechanism there or a magnet or something, but it doesn't really need one. Here we have 2 pockets on the sides with journaling cards. The smaller envelope, a belly band with a cluster, some random inking through a stencil. And when I was done, I will show you. There we go. This is all the scraps that I have left. Just a tiny little pieces. I mean, you could probably still use these for something. This could be a belly band in a journal or something. But yeah, I think I'm going to toss some of these and maybe save this, I don't know. But you don't have much left, so it's all well used. Now let's get back to making this. Now that I have folded all the fold lines, I'm going to take scissors and just cut one of these flaps off. There we go. And it's a good thing that I didn't cut the side flaps off, because I have a plan forming and I'm totally going to need those. There we go. So I'm going to make this little folder of sorts. I think I'm going to cut just a little bit more off so that I can, or that I leave myself some more room to work with. There we go. Doesn't have to be perfect, but it's always better if it is. I guess using what's it called, a paper cutter, a guillotine, or some sort of device like that would be smart, but here we go. Let's see if that folds now. Yeah, just, I don't know, maybe I should trim even more off. Yeah, I think it's a little bit crooked. I should, oops. Yeah, that paper. Actually, let's take my own advice and bring in the guillotine and just, actually I'm surprised how straight it was. Not straight, but I'm still surprised. There we go. So I have got just above that design right there. There we go. And now I'm going to place the envelope's bottom seams basically on top of each other like this, so that the whole envelope is hugging the cut version. And now I'm going to take some glue. I have not inked anything yet. We'll see if that's a good option or not. There we go, and just put a dab of glue on both sides to form a pocket. There we go. I don't want to glue myself. Thank you. There we go. And then I'm just going to hold it for a second so that it sticks. That's it. And now I'm going to glue these down, but I'm just trying to figure how I should do that. I think I'm going to put some glue here on the pockety edges. There we go. I'm not sure how much you can see as it's white on white. And then I'm going to add a dab of glue on the edges of these flaps as well. There we go. And now I'm going to hold it. As you can see some white here. That might bother you. It doesn't really bother me, at least not yet. We'll see how the how it goes. So I have this flap right here. I'm going to use that butterfly for decorating later on. And I think I'm going to use this small envelope right here somehow. Maybe somewhere. So I'm going to fold that too. And then I'm thinking of forming some sort of flaps here on the top side of this thing. And yes, that's what I'm going to do. That creepy guy there is, yeah, I think I'm just talking to myself. Don't mind me. Yeah. I'm going to measure this width right here and cut the piece accordingly, and I will be right back. So I've cut myself 2 squares. With my measurements, they were 11 by 11 centimeters. But please don't trust my measurements, because every printer to begin with prints this probably a little bit in a different size. So just leave a little bit room for the folds, but other than that, just do your own measuring, please. I'm starting with a coffee dyed paper, and I'm gluing this flap on top of it. So I'm just using the flap as a hinge. There we go. And then I'm taking one of the pattern papers here that I got from the journaling pages, and I'm just going to glue it on top of the coffee dyed paper, on top of this little hinge. There we go. I'm trying to line it up. There we go. And then I'm going to do the same on this other side, and once again, to save some time from you, I'm going to glue it and then I will be back. For those of you that are taking part in the scavenger hunt, here is your token for day 10. Now I have some flaps going on in here. I think I'm just going to round the corners really fast. Not necessary, but it's just, if I won't do this, they will just point, or, you know, they will be in my way at some point. I know that. So there we go. Rounded nice edges. I also took coffee dyed paper scrap and I inked it with black ink. I used VersaFine Clair. The color is, I think, Nocturne. But you can use whatever ink you have if you even want to use black. I think if we are talking about distress ink, Villainous Potion, I don't even know how to pronounce that, or maybe Wilted Violet might be perfect. But I just went with black, as the images have some blackish details. Okay, so the glue that I'm using is showing through a little bit, but I think it will be fine once it's dried. I hope. If it won't be, then it won't be. I think, or my idea with this paper scrap was to just leave some writing space, whether you are using it as or inside your journal, or leaving sending this as happy mail or whatever, you could write a little note there. That's it. And the butterfly I got from the flap of the second envelope, so that didn't go to waste. There we go. Then the next step would be doing something here in the inside. And I have this piece that was the center of the journaling pages. So I'm going to turn that into a belly band. I'm also going to ink around the edges really fast. I probably should have done this before I started filming, but it's okay. It is what it is. It's a little bit flimsy, and this background is a whole lot of white. Looks like I got some ink on my fingers. That's nice. You could ink blend this. You could coat it with some paper, maybe scraps that you have in your stash. You could stamp on it. You could cover it with coffee dyed paper, but I'm just going to leave it like this because I'm trying to save time. I also assembled the half a page envelope that I had. I'm going to put it behind the belly band. There we go. And then the last step would be the closer. Tinne, when she designed this, she included these lovely fox images. Technically, you could turn these into like a button closer that you wrap some thread around. That would be nice. But I'm thinking I'm just going to add a tuck spot here. So I'm going to cover this with something. I'm thinking recycled cardboard from some kind of packaging. And after I have glued and cut that, I will be back to show you how I would do it. Okay, I turned it into something sturdy. So now I'm going to put my finger from the top, the way that I think the image is straight, so that I won't glue that part. And I'm just going to put glue here to form some sort of a, it's like the letter U. I'm not sure if you can see, but I put the glue like that. And then I'm going to take the fox and place it on top of that flap. I'm trying to make sure that the end of the flap goes quite deep, but not too deep, because I don't want to close this for good. Oops, I've got some glue coming off the sides there. There we go. I'm just going to hold it for a bit. I'm going to do some inking for this main envelope as well, and probably some finishing touches on the inside. And once I am done, I will show you the final result. Okay, so here is the finished product or project. I used the rest of the kit, the extra big journal sheet and the smaller one, to create some journaling tags. There we go. I used either coffee dyed paper or other parts of the kit to back these so that they would be a little bit sturdier, and I even made a tab and a pocket behind one of those. So let's see where we can put this. So the journal or the folio flip, whatever, it opens like that. I totally ignored this pocket. Let's pretend it doesn't exist. And let's put the big journal tag here instead. I decided to do some inking through a stencil here and there, just to make it a little bit more cohesive. There we go. I also made a cluster here and added double or a pair of pockets here. Now all we have to do is to put these on their rightful places. There we go. And one more for the envelope. I hope you enjoyed this little project I came up with. Definitely hope you're having fun with Junetober and following all these wonderful creators that we have joining us here on YouTube. I would truly appreciate a thumbs up or a kind comment if you enjoyed this. Other than that, I have nothing else to say. So I hope you will have a lovely rest of the day. Bye for now.